What if I told you that the person you are today is just the starting point? That buried beneath the doubts, fears, and limitations lies a version of you so strong, so resilient, so extraordinary, it could rewrite your entire story. This isn't just a self-help book, it's your blueprint for transformation. Right now, you might feel stuck. Maybe life hasn't gone as planned. Maybe you've hit rock bottom, or you're simply tired of living the same day on repeat. But what if I told you that rock bottom isn't the end? It's the foundation for everything you're about to build. What if I told you that your pain, your failures, and even your loneliness aren't obstacles, they're tools waiting to be used? This book isn't about fixing what's broken, it's about creating something new. It's about unlocking the courage you didn't know you had, turning your setbacks into superpowers, and designing a life so powerful, so aligned, that it feels like it was always meant to be. You'll learn how to destroy the comfort zones that keep you small, rewrite the narratives that hold you back, and turn even your darkest moments into fuel for growth. You'll discover how to build a fortress around your mind, borrow courage from your future self, and wield pain as a weapon for transformation. But here's the truth. Transformation isn't about becoming someone else. It's about uncovering the greatness that's already within you. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait. The power to rebuild yourself is already in your hands. This is your moment to take it back, to step into your story as the hero you were always meant to be. Are you ready? Because your transformation begins now. Chapter 1. The Beauty of Hitting Rock Bottom. Rock bottom isn't the end. It's the foundation for everything you can build. When there's nothing left to lose, you gain clarity. You gain perspective. Embrace this moment. Use the silence of despair to hear your inner voice. Understand that the best version of you can only emerge from the ashes of your old self. Chapter 2. Stop fixing, start creating. Stop seeing yourself as broken. You are not a puzzle to be solved, but a masterpiece waiting to be painted. Focus on creation, not repair. What new habits, skills, or passions can you build from scratch? See yourself as an artist, and your life as a blank canvas. Chapter 3. Become the hero and the villain. In every story of transformation, there's a part of us that strives to be the hero, the one who saves the day, makes the right choices, and inspires others. But there's also a part that feels like the villain, driven by anger, fear, or selfish desires. These two sides aren't enemies. They're two halves of the same whole, and both are essential for growth. The heroic side of you is what brings kindness, courage, and hope. It's the part that keeps you moving forward, even when things feel impossible. It's the voice inside that tells you to keep trying, to believe in better days, and to help others along the way. But the side you see as the villain, your anger, ambition, or stubbornness, also holds incredible power. That power, if used wisely, can become a force for positive change. You don't need to fight or suppress this part of yourself. Think of it as untapped energy, waiting to be directed. Anger can become determination. Fear can turn into vigilance. Even selfishness can help you focus on your goals when the world feels overwhelming. It's not about letting these emotions take over, but understanding how to use them to fuel your actions. When you acknowledge both sides of yourself, you stop living in conflict. You begin to see that every hero has flaws, and every villain has moments of goodness. You can be brave and still feel afraid. You can be kind, but set firm boundaries. Life is about balance, and your growth comes from learning to embrace all parts of who you are. There's a unique strength in accepting your whole self. You don't need to fit into a perfect mold or deny your struggles. Instead, channel the qualities you once thought were bad into something constructive. By blending the hero's courage with the villain's intensity, you create a version of yourself that is resilient, powerful, and true. Let the hero in you dream big and act with kindness. Let the villain in you bring focus and fearlessness. Together, they make you unstoppable. This is the balance that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary forces in their own lives. Chapter 4. Destroy comfort as a priority. Comfort feels like a safe harbor. It's warm, predictable, and reassuring, but it can also be the most dangerous trap you'll ever face. While comfort may seem harmless, it quietly steals your potential, keeps you stuck in the same patterns, and slowly erodes your ambition. The truth is, nothing extraordinary happens in the comfort zone. Growth, success, and transformation all lie beyond it, waiting for you to step into the unknown. At its core, comfort is resistance to change. It whispers that you're fine as you are, that you don't need to try harder, and that the risks aren't worth it. It makes you settle for less, convincing you to choose short-term pleasure over long-term growth. But what comfort doesn't tell you is that staying still is not the same as staying safe. Life keeps moving, whether you do or not, and if you cling to comfort, you'll find yourself left behind. Breaking free from comfort is not easy. Your mind and body are hardwired to seek ease and avoid pain, but the most transformative moments in life come when you choose discomfort over convenience. Think about the times you've grown the most. Was it during easy, relaxed periods, or was it when you faced challenges head-on? True strength is built when you push yourself to the edge, take on the things that scare you, and embrace the uncertainty of what lies ahead. To destroy comfort, you must intentionally seek discomfort. This doesn't mean putting yourself in harm's way or chasing chaos for the sake of it. Instead, it's about stepping into situations that challenge your limits, force you to grow, and make you adapt. Start small if you need to. Wake up earlier than usual, take a cold shower, or tackle a task you've been avoiding. Over time, you'll build a tolerance for discomfort, and what once felt impossible will become second nature. The key is to reframe discomfort as an opportunity rather than a threat. When you feel the sting of effort, the awkwardness of trying something new, or the fear of failure, remind yourself that this is where growth happens. Every uncomfortable moment is a step closer to becoming the person you want to be. It's proof that you're not standing still, but moving forward, even when it's hard. There's also freedom in destroying comfort. When you stop clinging to the familiar, you realize how much more you're capable of. You start taking risks, speaking your mind, and chasing dreams you once thought were out of reach. You find a strength within yourself that you never knew existed, a strength that can only come from stepping outside your bubble and embracing life in all its messy, unpredictable beauty. The world doesn't reward comfort. It rewards courage. It rewards those who dare to try, fail, and try again. It rewards those who are willing to be uncomfortable in the pursuit of something greater. If you want to rebuild yourself into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable, you must make destroying comfort a priority. This doesn't mean rejecting joy or avoiding rest. It means not settling for less than what you're capable of, and constantly pushing the boundaries of what you think is possible. Imagine the person you could become if you chose discomfort over ease every day. Imagine the skills you'd learn, the resilience you'd build, and the opportunities you'd create. This is what awaits you on the other side of comfort. It's not an easy path, but it's the only path that leads to growth, fulfillment, and the life you truly deserve. So, step out of the warmth of your comfort zone. Face the challenges you've been avoiding. Say yes to the difficult conversations, the risks, and the opportunities that make you nervous. The more you embrace discomfort, the stronger you'll become. And as you grow, you'll look back and realize that comfort was never your friend. It was only holding you back from becoming the best version of yourself. Chapter 5. Develop a ruthless self-accountability system. Self-accountability is the cornerstone of any meaningful transformation. It's about owning your life, every decision, every action, every outcome. It's not about blaming yourself for what goes wrong, but taking full responsibility for what you can control. Without accountability, progress becomes a guessing game, and growth feels like a distant dream. If you want to rebuild yourself into someone extraordinary, you must develop a ruthless system of self-accountability. Accountability starts with honesty. You have to stop making excuses for yourself. Excuses are comforting lies that shield you from facing the truth. They let you off the hook, but they also keep you stuck. Being honest doesn't mean being harsh or critical. It means looking at your actions objectively and asking, did I do my best? Did I show up fully? Did I take the steps I needed to take? When you answer these questions truthfully, you begin to see where you're falling short and where you can do better. One of the most effective ways to hold yourself accountable is by tracking your progress. What gets measured gets managed. Set clear, specific goals for yourself and break them down into daily or weekly tasks. Write them down. Seeing your goals on paper or a screen makes them tangible. At the end of each day, reflect on what you accomplished. Did you meet your goals? If not, why? This daily check-in creates a feedback loop that keeps you on track and prevents small missteps from turning into major setbacks. Ruthless accountability also means eliminating blame. Blame is the enemy of growth. Whether you blame others or circumstances, the result is the same. You give away your power. When you blame, you become a victim of your situation. When you take responsibility, you become the architect of your future. Even when something isn't entirely your fault, ask yourself what role you played and what you can learn from it. This mindset shifts you from a reactive state to a proactive one, where you're always looking for solutions rather than excuses. It's important to create systems that make accountability automatic. Willpower alone is unreliable. It fluctuates depending on your mood, energy levels, and external distractions. Build routines and habits that align with your goals so that accountability becomes part of your daily life. For example, if you're working on your fitness, schedule your workouts at the same time every day. If you're trying to improve your productivity, set specific blocks of time for focused work. Systems remove the need for constant decision-making and reduce the risk of falling off track. Another key element of accountability is being willing to face discomfort. Growth requires hard work, and hard work isn't always pleasant. You have to be willing to push through the resistance, to wake up early, to have difficult conversations, to stay disciplined when motivation fades. This is where ruthless accountability comes into play. It's the voice inside you that says, "Do it anyway." It's the mindset that refuses to let short-term discomfort derail long-term goals. Reflection is a crucial part of the process. At the end of each week, take time to evaluate how you're doing. What did you accomplish? Where did you fall short? What will you do differently moving forward? Reflection isn't about beating yourself up for mistakes. It's about learning from them. Every setback is an opportunity to improve. When you approach reflection with curiosity rather than judgment, you create a safe space for growth. Accountability also requires you to set boundaries with yourself and others. You have to protect your time, energy, and focus. This might mean saying no to distractions, limiting time with people who don't support your growth, or cutting out habits that drain you. Boundaries aren't restrictive, they're liberating. They give you the space and structure to focus on what truly matters. If you find it challenging to stay accountable on your own, consider involving others. Share your goals with someone you trust, a friend, a mentor, or even an online community. Knowing that someone else is watching can increase your commitment. However, remember that self-accountability should be the foundation. External accountability is a tool, not a crutch. Ruthless self-accountability isn't about perfection. You will slip up. You will have days when you don't hit your goals. What matters is how you respond. Do you make excuses, or do you own your actions and course correct? Do you give up, or do you try again with renewed effort? Accountability is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. When you master self-accountability, you unlock your true potential. You stop waiting for external circumstances to change and start taking control of your destiny. You become someone who can be trusted, not just by others, but by yourself. And when you trust yourself, there's nothing you can't achieve. Rebuilding yourself is a journey, and accountability is your compass. It keeps you focused, disciplined, and aligned with your goals. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because when you take full responsibility for your life, you stop being a passenger and become the driver of your own transformation. Chapter 6. Rewrite your personal mythology. Your life is shaped by the stories you tell yourself about who you are, where you've been, and what you're capable of. These stories, your personal mythology, are often written in moments of pain, triumph, fear, or confusion. Over time, they solidify into beliefs that define your identity and guide your decisions. But what happens when the stories you've been living by no longer serve you? If you want to rebuild yourself, you must rewrite your personal mythology. Many of the stories we tell ourselves are inherited. They come from our families, our culture, our past experiences, and the opinions of others. Maybe you were told you're not smart enough, not strong enough, or not worthy enough. Maybe you've internalized failure as permanent or seen setbacks as proof that you'll never succeed. These narratives become self-fulfilling prophecies. If you believe you're destined to fail, you'll hesitate to try. If you see yourself as a victim, you'll struggle to take control of your life. The first step to rewriting your personal mythology is to recognize the stories you've been telling yourself. Take a moment to reflect. What beliefs do you hold about yourself? Are they empowering, or do they hold you back? Pay attention to the words you use to describe your life. If phrases like, "I'm just not good at that," or "things never work out for me," feel familiar, those are clues to the narratives that need to change. Once you've identified these stories, ask yourself, are they true? Often, we accept our stories without questioning them, but when you dig deeper, you'll find that many of them are based on assumptions, misunderstandings, or isolated events that you've allowed to define your entire identity. Just because something happened once, or even multiple times, doesn't mean it will always be that way. Your past is a chapter, not the entire book. Now comes the transformative part, rewriting your story. Start by imagining the person you want to become. What qualities do they have? How do they respond to challenges? What kind of life do they live? Your new story should align with this vision. For example, instead of saying, "I always fail at relationships," rewrite it as, "I'm learning to build healthy and meaningful connections." Instead of, "I'm not good at change," tell yourself, "I adapt and grow stronger with every challenge I face." This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to see yourself as capable of growth and change. Your story doesn't have to be a fairy tale, but it should be one that empowers you to take action and move forward. To solidify your new mythology, repeat it to yourself often. Write it down, speak it aloud, make it a part of your daily thoughts. The more you reinforce these new narratives, the more they become ingrained in your mind. Over time, they'll replace the old limiting beliefs that once held you back. Your new mythology should also include lessons from your past. You don't need to erase your history to move forward. Instead, reinterpret it. See the challenges you've faced as training grounds for resilience. View your mistakes as stepping stones to wisdom. When you rewrite your story, you're not discarding who you were, you're transforming it into a foundation for who you're becoming. Surround yourself with people who support your new narrative. The stories you tell yourself are influenced by the people around you. If your current environment reinforces the old, limiting beliefs, it will be harder to make lasting changes. Seek out individuals who see your potential, encourage your growth, and inspire you to keep rewriting your story. Rewriting your personal mythology is not a one-time act. It's an ongoing process. Life will continue to challenge you, and new experiences will test the strength of your new narrative. When this happens, revisit your story. Adjust it as needed. Keep it aligned with your goals, your growth, and your vision for the future. Imagine the power of living a story where you're the hero, where setbacks are temporary, where challenges are opportunities, and where you are in control of your destiny. That's the life you can create when you rewrite your personal mythology. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But with each new chapter you write, you'll move closer to the person you were always meant to be. The pen is in your hands. Write wisely. Chapter 7. Stop being a slave to validation. Validation is a natural human desire. From the time we are children, we seek approval from parents, teachers, friends, and even strangers. A kind word, a pat on the back, a like on social media, these little affirmations feel good. But when you build your sense of self-worth on external validation, you hand over control of your life. You become a slave to the opinions of others, constantly chasing their approval and afraid of their disapproval. To truly rebuild yourself, you must break free from this need. Living for validation is like trying to fill a bucket with holes. No matter how much approval you receive, it never feels like enough. The moment you get one compliment, you start seeking the next. The moment someone praises you, you worry about whether they'll still approve tomorrow. This endless cycle creates anxiety and insecurity because your value is always at the mercy of someone else's judgment. The problem with seeking validation is that it makes you compromise who you are. You start shaping your actions, decisions, and even your personality around what you think others want from you. You wear masks to fit in, hide parts of yourself to avoid criticism, and make choices based on what's popular instead of what's right for you. Over time, you lose touch with your authentic self. Breaking free from the need for validation starts with recognizing that no one's opinion of you is more important than your opinion of yourself. What someone else thinks of you is a reflection of their own values, beliefs, and experiences, not a measure of your worth. You have to decide once and for all that your value isn't up for debate. It doesn't rise when people praise you or fall when they criticize you. It simply exists, unshaken by external noise. To stop being a slave to validation, you must learn to listen to your own voice. Ask yourself, what do I want? What feels right to me? What makes me happy? These questions may feel unfamiliar if you've spent most of your life prioritizing others' opinions. But the more you practice, the clearer your inner voice will become. Trust it. Trust yourself. Part of this process involves becoming comfortable with discomfort. When you stop seeking validation, you'll inevitably face disapproval, criticism, or even rejection. People who are used to you conforming to their expectations may not like it when you start prioritizing your own needs. That's okay. Let their discomfort be a sign that you're growing. Remember, the goal isn't to please everyone. It's to live a life that's true to you. You also need to redefine what success means to you. If your idea of success is tied to external recognition, like getting a promotion, being admired, or gaining followers, you'll always feel like you're chasing something just out of reach. Instead, measure success by internal standards. Did you stay true to your values? Did you make progress toward your goals? Did you grow as a person? These are the metrics that truly matter. Social media is one of the biggest traps for validation seekers. It's designed to make you crave likes, comments, and shares. To break free, you need to change how you interact with these platforms. Stop posting for likes and start sharing what genuinely matters to you. Stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on your own journey. If social media feels toxic, take a break or limit your usage. Your peace of mind is worth more than any number of likes. Building self-validation is a daily practice. It's about celebrating your own achievements, no matter how small. It's about acknowledging your efforts, even when no one else does. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, "I am enough," even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. The more you validate yourself, the less you'll need it from others. One of the greatest freedoms you'll experience is the freedom from validation. When you stop caring about what others think, you start living for yourself. You take risks without worrying about judgment. You speak your truth without fear of criticism. You make choices based on your own values, not someone else's expectations. This kind of freedom isn't just empowering, it's transformative. Imagine a life where you're no longer weighed down by the need for approval, a life where you're free to be yourself, unapologetically and authentically. This is the life you can create when you stop being a slave to validation. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But with each step you take, you'll reclaim a piece of your freedom. And in that freedom, you'll discover the strength, confidence, and self-worth that have been within you all along. Chapter 8. The Power of Becoming Unpredictable. Predictability feels safe. It gives us a sense of control, a routine to follow, and a way to anticipate outcomes. But predictability can also become a cage, locking us into repetitive patterns that stifle growth and creativity. When you're predictable, you're easy to read, easy to control, and easy to overlook. To rebuild yourself into someone truly dynamic, you must embrace the power of unpredictability. Predictability often stems from fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown keeps us clinging to routines and habits that feel secure. We wake up at the same time, follow the same paths, make the same choices, and wonder why nothing changes. The problem is that comfort zones breed stagnation. They shield you from risk, but also block you from opportunities. Breaking free requires stepping into the unexpected. Becoming unpredictable doesn't mean abandoning all structure or living recklessly. It's about challenging the patterns that no longer serve you and introducing variability into your life. When you do this, you force yourself to adapt, grow, and see the world from fresh perspectives. Unpredictability keeps you sharp. It teaches you to think on your feet and navigate uncertainty with confidence. Start by examining your routines. What parts of your life feel repetitive and uninspired? Is it your daily schedule, your conversations, or even your hobbies? Identify one area where you can introduce something new. Take a different route to work. Try a hobby you've always been curious about. Say yes to an invitation you'd normally decline. These small changes disrupt the monotony and invite new experiences into your life. Unpredictability isn't just about external actions, it's also about your mindset. Challenge your own assumptions. If you've always thought you're bad at something, try it anyway. If you've always avoided certain risks, consider what might happen if you took one. When you question your own limitations, you open the door to unexpected growth. There's also immense power in being unpredictable to others. When people can predict your every move, they can manipulate or dismiss you. But when you're unpredictable, you become intriguing and harder to define. People pay attention to those who break the mold. They respect those who refuse to be boxed in by expectations. To become unpredictable, you need to embrace uncertainty. Life is inherently uncertain, and no amount of planning can change that. Instead of fearing the unknown, see it as a playground for creativity and exploration. The unknown is where possibilities live. It's where you discover new opportunities, relationships, and strengths you didn't know you had. Unpredictability also builds resilience. When you're used to stepping outside your comfort zone, you become less shaken by unexpected challenges. You develop the ability to pivot, adapt, and thrive in the face of change. This kind of flexibility is a superpower in a world that's constantly shifting. Another key to unpredictability is cultivating spontaneity. Plan less and act more in the moment. If an idea excites you, act on it before doubt creeps in. Spontaneity brings energy and excitement into your life, breaking up the dullness of routine. It also makes you more present. When you're not stuck in rigid plans, you can fully engage with the moment in front of you. Unpredictability isn't about being chaotic or unreliable. It's about being versatile and multidimensional. It's about surprising yourself and others with what you're capable of. It's about breaking free from the mold and proving that you're not defined by your past, your circumstances, or anyone's expectations. When you become unpredictable, you make room for growth in every area of your life. Your relationships become more dynamic as people see new sides of you. Your work becomes more creative as you take risks and innovate. Your personal growth accelerates as you challenge limits and explore new paths. Imagine a life where you're not bound by the same routines, not held back by fear, and not defined by what others expect of you. Imagine the excitement, the possibilities, and the freedom that come with being unpredictable. This is the power you unlock when you embrace change, take risks, and step boldly into the unknown. Becoming unpredictable doesn't mean abandoning who you are. It means expanding who you are. It means becoming a person of depth, complexity, and endless possibility. So, start small, stay curious, and let unpredictability become your greatest strength. As you do, you'll not only rebuild yourself, you'll become someone the world has never seen before. Chapter 9. Adapt to chaos, don't avoid it. Chaos is inevitable. It's woven into the fabric of life, showing up in ways we can't predict or control. Whether it's a sudden challenge, a shift in circumstances, or the unexpected collapse of plans, chaos forces us to face the unknown. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid it, building routines, strategies, and safety nets to shield themselves. But no matter how carefully you plan, chaos will find you. The secret to rebuilding yourself lies not in avoiding chaos, but in learning to adapt to it. Chaos often feels overwhelming because it disrupts the illusion of control. We like to believe that if we plan well enough, work hard enough, or follow the rules, everything will go smoothly. But life doesn't work that way. Chaos doesn't ask for permission. It simply arrives, shaking the ground beneath you. The key is to stop fighting it. Resistance only drains your energy. Instead, learn to flow with chaos and find opportunities within it. Adapting to chaos begins with shifting your mindset. Stop seeing chaos as a problem and start seeing it as a teacher. Chaos breaks routines, disrupts comfort zones, and forces you to think creatively. It's through chaos that you discover new paths, develop resilience, and grow stronger. Every moment of chaos is an invitation to reinvent yourself. One of the first steps to adapting to chaos is letting go of rigid expectations. The tighter you cling to how things should be, the harder it is to navigate how things are. Flexibility is your greatest ally in times of uncertainty. This doesn't mean abandoning your goals. It means being open to different ways of achieving them. When plans fall apart, don't see it as failure. Instead, ask yourself, what's next? How can I pivot? In chaos, your ability to stay calm becomes a superpower. When everything around you feels out of control, your inner calm becomes a steady anchor. Practice grounding techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or simply pausing to collect your thoughts. Chaos feeds on panic, but when you respond with composure, you reclaim your power. This calmness allows you to think clearly, make better decisions, and adapt more effectively. Another important skill is learning to focus on what you can control. Chaos often makes you feel powerless because so much is out of your hands. But there's always something you can control, even if it's just your attitude or your next step. Break overwhelming situations into smaller, manageable tasks. Take one step at a time. Each small action moves you forward and builds momentum, even in the midst of chaos. Chaos also teaches you the value of adaptability. Life is constantly changing, and those who thrive are the ones who can adjust quickly. Be willing to let go of old ways of thinking and embrace new perspectives. When something doesn't work, don't dwell on it. Try a different approach. Adaptability isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. It's the belief that no matter what happens, you can find a way through. One of the most powerful lessons of chaos is the importance of resilience. Chaos tests your strength, patience, and determination. It challenges you to keep going when the path gets tough. Every time you face chaos and overcome it, you become stronger. You learn that you're capable of more than you thought. Resilience isn't about avoiding the storm, it's about learning to dance in the rain. Embracing chaos also requires trust. Trust in yourself, and trust in the process. You won't always have all the answers, and that's okay. Trust that you have the skills, creativity, and courage to navigate whatever comes your way. Trust that even in the midst of uncertainty, you're moving toward growth. This trust allows you to step into chaos with confidence instead of fear. Chaos can also be an opportunity for discovery. When life feels out of control, it forces you to reevaluate your priorities, values, and goals. Sometimes, chaos reveals paths you wouldn't have considered otherwise. It shakes you free from complacency and reminds you of what truly matters. Use these moments to realign with your purpose and create a life that's more authentic and meaningful. Finally, remember that chaos is temporary. No storm lasts forever. Even when it feels like everything is falling apart, know that it's part of a cycle. Chaos often precedes transformation. It breaks down the old to make way for the new. When you adapt to chaos, you become part of this transformation. You emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever comes next. Imagine a life where chaos doesn't scare you but excites you. A life where you see uncertainty as an adventure, not a threat. This is the power of adapting to chaos. It's not about eliminating uncertainty, but learning to thrive within it. When you embrace chaos as a natural part of life, you unlock a strength and freedom that few ever find. You stop fearing the unpredictable and start building a life that can withstand anything. Chapter 10. Quit something you love. Letting go of something you love feels unnatural, even painful. We're taught to hold on tightly to the things and people we cherish, to nurture them, and to never let them slip away. But sometimes, the very things you love most can become the chains that hold you back. To rebuild yourself, you must learn the art of quitting, not as an act of giving up, but as an act of making space for growth, transformation, and freedom. Quitting something you love is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. It takes courage to step back and ask yourself, is this still serving me? Is this helping me grow? Or is it keeping me stuck? Love is powerful, but it's not always enough to justify holding on. Sometimes the dreams, habits, or relationships you once cherished can become outdated, restrictive, or even harmful as you evolve. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or rejecting what you once loved. It means recognizing when something has run its course. A relationship, for example, may have brought you joy and taught you valuable lessons, but if it's no longer aligned with your values or goals, holding on may do more harm than good. A career path you were once passionate about may have given you purpose, but if it's now draining your energy and stifling your creativity, it might be time to walk away. One of the hardest parts of quitting something you love is the fear of regret. What if I let go and realize later that I made a mistake? What if I miss it? These questions are natural, but they shouldn't paralyze you. Regret often comes from inaction, staying in a situation that no longer feels right because you're too afraid to make a change. By taking action, you're giving yourself the chance to discover something better, even if it's uncomfortable at first. Another obstacle to letting go is the attachment we build over time. The longer you hold on to something, the harder it feels to let go. This is especially true for things tied to your identity. You might think, if I quit this job, who am I? If I end this relationship, what will my life look like? These fears are valid, but also a sign that it's time to reevaluate. Your identity is not tied to any single job, person, or passion. It's fluid, and it grows as you do. Quitting something you love often involves grieving. Even when you know it's the right choice, there's a sense of loss. You're saying goodbye to a part of your life that once meant everything to you. Allow yourself to feel that grief. Don't rush through it or suppress it. Grieving is not a sign that you made the wrong choice. It's a natural part of moving on. At the same time, letting go creates space for new opportunities. When your hands are full, you can't reach for something else. By quitting something you love, you open yourself to experiences, relationships, and passions you might never have imagined. You make room for growth, and you give yourself the freedom to explore new paths. Quitting also teaches you the value of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care, it means you don't cling. You can love something deeply and still recognize when it's time to let it go. This kind of detachment is liberating. It allows you to love without fear, to grow without hesitation, and to move forward without being weighed down by the past. To quit something you love, you need clarity. Take time to reflect on what you're holding on to and why. Are you keeping it because it genuinely adds value to your life, or because you're afraid of change? Are you staying out of love or out of habit? Answering these questions honestly will help you make the right choice. You also need courage. Letting go is rarely easy, especially when it involves something you've built your life around. But courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means taking action despite it. Trust that even if the path ahead feels uncertain, it's leading you to where you need to be. Finally, understand that quitting something you love doesn't mean failure. It's not about giving up. It's about growing up. It's about recognizing that life is a series of chapters, and sometimes you have to close one to begin another. The love you felt doesn't disappear. It becomes a part of your story, shaping who you are and guiding you toward what's next. Imagine the freedom that comes with letting go of what no longer serves you. The weight lifts, the space clears, and suddenly you're free to create, explore, and grow. Quitting something you love isn't the end of your journey. It's a powerful step forward. It's an act of courage, wisdom, and love for yourself and the life you're building. Chapter 11. Weaponize your pain. Pain is a universal experience. It comes in many forms: loss, rejection, failure, heartbreak, betrayal, or even physical suffering. Most people see pain as an enemy, something to avoid, suppress, or escape. But what if you could transform pain into power? What if instead of letting it break you, you could use it to build yourself into someone stronger, wiser, and unstoppable? This is the art of weaponizing your pain. Pain has a way of revealing truths that comfort cannot. It strips away illusions and forces you to confront who you are, what you value, and what you're capable of enduring. While comfort lulls you into complacency, pain wakes you up. It's raw, intense, and undeniable. But within that intensity lies a spark, a chance to create something extraordinary out of your suffering. The first step to weaponizing your pain is acknowledging it. Many people try to numb their pain with distractions, addictions, or denial. But pain doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It lingers in the background, quietly shaping your thoughts and actions. To truly harness its power, you must face it head-on. Acknowledge what hurts, why it hurts, and how it's affecting you. This honesty is the foundation of transformation. Next, you must reframe your pain. Instead of seeing it as something that's happening to you, see it as something that's happening for you. Pain is not punishment, it's a teacher. Every painful experience carries a lesson, a challenge, or an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me better? This shift in perspective turns pain from a burden into a tool for self-improvement. One of the most powerful ways to weaponize pain is to channel it into action. Pain creates energy, an intense, often overwhelming energy. Instead of letting that energy consume you, direct it towards something constructive. If you've experienced failure, use that pain to fuel your drive to succeed. If you've been hurt by someone, use that pain to strengthen your boundaries and rebuild your self-worth. Channel your anger, sadness, or frustration into creativity, whether it's art, writing, or building something new in your life. Pain can also be a catalyst for change. It pushes you to question the status quo and seek something better. Many of the world's greatest achievements have been born out of pain, people turning heartbreak into poetry, injustice into activism, or personal loss into a mission to help others. Pain sharpens your focus and reminds you of what truly matters. It strips away the unnecessary and leaves you with clarity about your priorities and purpose. Another way to weaponize pain is to use it to connect with others. Pain is a bridge. It reminds you that you're not alone in your struggles. When you share your pain honestly, you inspire others to do the same. This vulnerability creates deep, meaningful connections. It allows you to turn your personal suffering into a source of empathy, compassion, and support for those around you. But weaponizing pain doesn't mean letting it control you. Pain is a tool, not a master. To harness its power, you must balance it with perspective. Pain can be all-consuming if you let it, but it doesn't have to define you. Remember that pain is temporary. Even in its most intense moments, it will eventually pass. Keep your focus on the bigger picture, the growth, strength, and transformation that lie on the other side. You must also protect yourself from becoming bitter or hardened by pain. It's easy to let pain turn into anger, resentment, or cynicism, but this only traps you in a cycle of negativity. Instead, choose to let pain soften you, not weaken you. Let it make you more compassionate, understanding, and open to the beauty of life. Strength doesn't come from shutting down. It comes from staying open, even in the face of suffering. To weaponize your pain, you also need to forgive. Not just others, but yourself. Holding on to blame or regret keeps you tied to the source of your pain. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing what happened. It means freeing yourself from the weight of anger and resentment so you can move forward unburdened. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways to reclaim your energy and turn pain into growth. Finally, remember that pain is a chapter, not the whole story. It's a part of your journey, but it doesn't define your destination. Use it as fuel to propel yourself forward. Let it remind you of your strength, your resilience, and your ability to overcome. Every scar you carry is a testament to the battles you fought and the victories you've achieved. Wear them with pride, not shame. Imagine a life where pain doesn't hold you back, but pushes you forward. A life where every hardship becomes a stepping stone, every setback becomes a setup for a comeback, and every wound becomes a source of wisdom. This is the power of weaponizing your pain. It's not about avoiding suffering, but transforming it into something meaningful, purposeful, and powerful. Pain doesn't have to break you. It can build you into someone extraordinary. The choice is yours. Will you let it consume you, or will you use it to fuel your rise? Chapter 12. Borrow courage from your future self. Courage often feels like a distant, unreachable force, especially when you're overwhelmed by fear or uncertainty. But what if you could tap into a reservoir of courage that already exists within you? Not in the present moment, but in your future. Imagine the strongest, boldest, and most fearless version of yourself, the person you're becoming. That version of you is waiting, and their courage is already yours to borrow. Borrowing courage from your future self is about visualizing the person you aspire to be and using their strength to guide your actions today. It's not just an exercise in imagination, it's a powerful strategy for overcoming fear, self-doubt, and hesitation. When you align your current actions with the confidence and resilience of your future self, you unlock a part of you that's capable of extraordinary things. Start by imagining your future self in vivid detail. Picture a version of you who has already overcome the challenges you're facing now. This future self is calm, composed, and confident. They've made it through the hard times and emerged stronger. They know what it's like to stand where you're standing, and they have the wisdom to guide you forward. What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What choices have they made to get where they are? This future self isn't a stranger. They are you, just further along in the journey. They've already faced the fears and doubts you're dealing with and found a way to move past them. Their courage isn't mythical. It's rooted in the same strengths and resources you already possess. The difference is that they've learned to use those resources effectively. By visualizing this version of yourself, you create a blueprint for who you want to become. When fear or doubt creeps in, ask yourself, what would my future self do? Would they hesitate or take bold action? Would they let fear dictate their choices, or would they push forward with determination? Borrowing courage from your future self is about stepping into their mindset and acting as though you're already the person you want to be. This isn't about pretending or faking it. It's about embodying the qualities you aspire to develop. One of the most powerful aspects of borrowing courage from your future self is that it creates a bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It helps you see that the gap isn't as wide as it seems. Your future self is simply a reflection of the choices you make today. Each courageous decision you take brings you closer to becoming that version of yourself. Borrowing courage also helps you detach from the fear of failure. When you act with the confidence of your future self, you realize that mistakes and setbacks are just part of the journey. Your future self has already faced these obstacles and grown stronger because of them. They're living proof that failure isn't the end. It's a stepping stone to success. To make this practice even more effective, try writing a letter from your future self. Imagine they're looking back at your current situation and offering you advice, encouragement, and reassurance. What would they tell you? How would they remind you of your strength and resilience? Writing this letter creates a tangible connection to your future self and reinforces the idea that their courage is already within you. Another way to borrow courage is through visualization. Close your eyes and picture yourself a year, 5 years, or even 10 years from now. Imagine facing a challenge with unwavering confidence. See yourself standing tall, speaking clearly, and taking bold action. Let that image inspire you in the present moment. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes to access the mindset of your future self. Borrowing courage doesn't mean ignoring your fears. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, and it serves a purpose. But fear doesn't have to control you. When you borrow courage from your future self, you acknowledge the fear, but choose to act anyway. You remind yourself that the strength to face challenges is already within you, even if it feels out of reach right now. The beauty of borrowing courage is that it builds momentum. Each time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you're capable. This creates a feedback loop where courage leads to action, action leads to growth, and growth reinforces your courage. Over time, the gap between your present and future self narrows, and you become the person you once only imagined. Think about the possibilities that open up when you borrow courage from your future self. Imagine the risks you'd take, the goals you'd pursue, and the fears you'd conquer. Picture the relationships you'd build, the opportunities you'd seize, and the life you'd create. All of this starts with a single decision: to act today as though you already possess the courage you'll one day embody. Your future self is waiting. They're cheering you on, reminding you that you're capable of more than you know. Borrow their courage, trust their wisdom, and let their strength guide you. The path to becoming your best self isn't paved with perfection. It's paved with brave, imperfect steps forward. Start taking those steps today, and watch as you transform into the person you were always meant to be. Chapter 13. Make loneliness your superpower. Loneliness is often seen as a burden, something to be feared and avoided at all costs. It's painted as an emptiness, a void that leaves us feeling isolated and disconnected from the world. But what if loneliness wasn't a curse? What if instead of running from it, you could embrace it, transform it, and use it as a powerful tool for personal growth? To rebuild yourself, you must learn to make loneliness your superpower. Loneliness is part of the human experience. No matter how connected you are, there will be moments when you feel alone, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. These moments can feel like a chasm, but they are also an invitation. Loneliness strips away distractions and external noise, leaving you with the raw, unfiltered version of yourself. It's in these moments that you have the opportunity to turn inward, discover who you truly are, and develop a strength that can only come from standing alone. The first step to making loneliness your superpower is to change how you view it. Society often equates being alone with being unloved or unwanted, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Being alone doesn't mean you're lacking, it means you have the chance to connect with yourself on a deeper level. It's not a punishment, it's a gift. When you shift your perspective, loneliness transforms from something you dread into something you value. Loneliness provides space for self-discovery. In a world that constantly demands your attention, being alone gives you the rare opportunity to listen to your inner voice. Who are you when no one is watching? What do you truly want beyond the expectations of others? Loneliness allows you to ask these questions and explore the answers without interference. It's in solitude that you can uncover your passions, clarify your goals, and strengthen your sense of self. In this solitude, you learn to rely on yourself. When you're alone, there's no one else to fill the gaps or solve your problems. This can feel daunting, but it's also empowering. You realize that you are capable of meeting your own needs, finding your own answers, and creating your own happiness. This self-reliance is a superpower in itself. It frees you from dependency on others for your sense of worth or direction. Loneliness also fuels creativity. Many of history's greatest artists, thinkers, and innovators found their inspiration in solitude. When you're alone, your mind has the freedom to wander, explore, and create. Without the pressure to perform or conform, you can tap into ideas and perspectives that might otherwise remain hidden. Embrace this creative potential. Use your alone time to write, paint, build, or simply dream. Let your imagination run wild, unrestricted by the noise of the outside world. One of the most profound ways to harness the power of loneliness is to use it for reflection. Solitude gives you the chance to examine your life with honesty and clarity. What's working? What's not? What changes do you need to make? Reflection isn't about dwelling on mistakes or regrets. It's about learning from them and using that wisdom to move forward. In the quiet of loneliness, you can find the answers you've been searching for. Loneliness also teaches you the art of self-compassion. When you're alone, you're faced with your own thoughts, fears, and insecurities. Instead of running from them, learn to sit with them. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, as you would a close friend. This practice not only helps you navigate loneliness, but also builds a foundation of self-love that will serve you in every area of your life. Making loneliness your superpower doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting connections with others. It's about finding balance, appreciating the value of solitude while still cultivating meaningful relationships. When you're comfortable being alone, you bring a stronger, more authentic version of yourself into your interactions. You're no longer seeking others to fill a void, but rather sharing your wholeness with them. Loneliness also strengthens your resilience. When you learn to stand alone, you become less afraid of losing others. You realize that while connections are valuable, your worth isn't dependent on them. This resilience allows you to face challenges with confidence, knowing that you have the inner strength to handle whatever comes your way. Finally, loneliness helps you connect with something greater than yourself. For some, this may be a spiritual practice or a connection to nature. For others, it may be a sense of purpose or a deeper appreciation for life. When you're alone, you have the time and space to explore these connections and find meaning beyond the surface level. Imagine a life where loneliness isn't something to fear, but something to embrace. A life where solitude becomes a source of strength, creativity, and self-discovery. This is the power of making loneliness your superpower. It's not about avoiding the pain of being alone, but transforming that pain into something meaningful and beautiful. So the next time you feel the ache of loneliness, don't run from it. Sit with it, explore it, and let it teach you. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to connect with yourself, and to create a life that's rich with purpose and authenticity. When you make loneliness your superpower, you become unstoppable, not because you don't need anyone, but because you've found strength, love, and fulfillment within yourself. Chapter 14. Build an alter ego. Building an alter ego might sound like something reserved for superheroes or fictional characters, but it's one of the most powerful tools for personal transformation in real life. An alter ego is not about pretending to be someone else. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that is bolder, more confident, and more aligned with the person you aspire to become. It's about creating a mental framework that helps you break free from self-imposed limitations and achieve extraordinary results. At its core, an alter ego is a psychological tool. It allows you to bypass the fears, doubts, and insecurities of your current self by adopting the mindset of someone who embodies the qualities you need to succeed. Think of it as a suit of armor you put on when you face challenges. When you're wearing that armor, you're not weighed down by your usual hesitations. Instead, you're empowered by the strengths of your alter ego. The first step in building an alter ego is identifying the areas in your life where you feel held back. Is it your career, where you struggle to speak up or take risks? Is it your personal life, where fear of rejection keeps you from forming meaningful connections? Pinpoint the specific situations where you want to show up differently. These are the moments where your alter ego will shine. Next, imagine the ideal version of yourself in these situations. How would they act? What would they say? How would they carry themselves? This ideal version of you becomes the foundation of your alter ego. Give them a name if you like, something that captures their essence. This isn't just a mental exercise, it's a way to create a distinct persona that feels separate from your current self. This separation is what makes the alter ego so effective. It allows you to step out of your comfort zone without feeling like you're risking your identity. When creating your alter ego, draw inspiration from people you admire. These could be real-life mentors, fictional characters, historical figures, or even archetypes like a warrior, artist, or leader. Study their qualities, behaviors, and attitudes. What makes them powerful? What sets them apart? Incorporate these traits into your alter ego. Remember, you're not copying them. You're using their strengths as building blocks for your own transformation. Your alter ego doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if they're not. Perfection is intimidating and unattainable. Instead, focus on the qualities that matter most for the challenges you're facing. If you struggle with confidence, your alter ego might be fearless and assertive. If you tend to procrastinate, they might be disciplined and action-oriented. The key is to design an alter ego that fills the gaps in your current mindset and behavior. Once you've created your alter ego, start practicing stepping into their role. Visualization is a powerful tool for this. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as your alter ego. See yourself walking, speaking, and acting with their confidence and strength. Feel what it's like to embody their energy. The more vividly you can picture it, the easier it becomes to access this persona in real life. Begin small. Test your alter ego in low-stakes situations. Maybe you use them to strike up a conversation with a stranger or tackle a task you've been avoiding. Each time you step into your alter ego, you reinforce the connection between their traits and your actions. Over time, these behaviors become second nature, and the qualities of your alter ego start to integrate into your real self. Your alter ego is not about creating a facade or being fake. It's about unlocking the potential that already exists within you. Think of it as a bridge between who you are and who you want to be. The more you use it, the more you'll discover that the courage, confidence, and strength you attribute to your alter ego were within you all along. Building an alter ego also helps you manage your fears and insecurities. When you face a daunting situation, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by self-doubt. But when you step into your alter ego, you approach the challenge from a place of strength. It's as if you're borrowing courage from a different part of yourself. This psychological distance makes it easier to take risks, confront fears, and push past your limits. Your alter ego can evolve over time. As you grow and overcome challenges, you might find that the qualities you once needed are now part of your everyday identity. When this happens, you can create a new alter ego for the next phase of your journey. The process of building and using alter egos becomes a cycle of growth, allowing you to continually expand your capabilities. Imagine walking into any situation with the confidence and clarity of someone who knows they can handle it. Imagine speaking up, taking risks, and pursuing your dreams without hesitation. This is the power of an alter ego. It's not about pretending to be someone else. It's about becoming the version of yourself that you've always had the potential to be. So start today. Create your alter ego. Give them a name, a purpose, and a personality. Step into their shoes and watch as they guide you through fear, doubt, and challenges. Over time, you'll realize that your alter ego isn't just a tool, it's a reflection of the best parts of you, and as those parts become stronger, you'll no longer need to borrow their strength. You'll have built it within yourself, brick by brick, action by action, step by step. Chapter 15. Practice strategic ignorance. In a world overflowing with information, opinions, and distractions, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and scattered. Every day you're bombarded with news headlines, social media updates, unsolicited advice, and the endless chatter of other people's thoughts and priorities. The noise can be deafening, pulling your attention in 100 different directions and leaving you feeling drained, confused, or paralyzed. But here's a secret. You don't have to know everything, respond to everything, or engage with everything. To rebuild yourself, you must master the art of strategic ignorance. Strategic ignorance is not about being uninformed or oblivious to the world. It's about making deliberate choices about what you give your attention to and what you choose to ignore. It's a skillful form of focus, a way to cut through the noise and prioritize what truly matters to you. It's saying, not everything deserves my energy, and I will guard my attention fiercely. The first step to practicing strategic ignorance is understanding that your time and mental energy are limited resources. Every moment you spend worrying about a meaningless tweet or arguing about a trivial topic is a moment you could have used to pursue your goals, nurture your relationships, or simply enjoy your life. Strategic ignorance is about protecting these resources by filtering out anything that doesn't align with your values or contribute to your growth. One of the biggest culprits that demand your attention is the never-ending flow of news and information. While it's important to stay informed about the world, you don't need to be glued to every breaking headline. Much of the news is sensationalized, designed to provoke fear or outrage rather than provide meaningful insights. Ask yourself, does this piece of information actually impact my life or help me achieve my goals? If the answer is no, let it go. You can stay informed without drowning in noise by limiting your exposure and choosing trusted, concise sources. Social media is another major area where strategic ignorance can transform your life. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are designed to keep you scrolling endlessly, feeding you a mix of valuable content, mindless distractions, and outright negativity. To practice strategic ignorance here, start by curating your feed. Unfollow accounts that don't inspire, educate, or bring you joy. Set limits on your usage and don't be afraid to take breaks. Remember, you don't have to engage with every comment, trend, or viral post. Your attention is too precious to waste on things that don't matter. Strategic ignorance also applies to people. Not everyone's opinion deserves space in your mind. Whether it's a colleague's unsolicited advice, a stranger's criticism, or a friend's constant complaints, you have the right to set boundaries. This doesn't mean shutting people out completely. It means being selective about whose voices you prioritize. Surround yourself with people who uplift and challenge you in meaningful ways, and learn to tune out the rest. Practicing strategic ignorance requires clarity about your goals and values. When you know what matters most to you, it becomes easier to recognize what doesn't. Take some time to define your priorities. What are your long-term goals? What kind of life do you want to build? Once you have this clarity, use it as a filter for your attention. If something doesn't align with your priorities, it's not worth your focus. Another important aspect of strategic ignorance is learning to say no. Many of us feel obligated to say yes to every request, invitation, or opportunity that comes our way. But saying yes to everything often means saying no to yourself. Strategic ignorance empowers you to say no without guilt, knowing that every no creates space for a more meaningful yes. Practice this by asking yourself, does this align with my values? Will this move me closer to my goals? If the answer is no, give yourself permission to decline. One of the most challenging parts of practicing strategic ignorance is overcoming the fear of missing out, FOMO. FOMO convinces you that you need to stay plugged in, that you'll miss something important if you don't check your phone or attend that event. But the truth is, what you gain by focusing on what truly matters far outweighs what you lose by ignoring the rest. Shift your mindset from "what am I missing" to "what am I creating?" The more you focus on your own path, the less you'll care about what others are doing. Strategic ignorance doesn't mean avoiding challenges or hard truths. There are times when facing uncomfortable realities is necessary for growth. The key is to distinguish between what's worth your attention and what's just noise. Focus on the challenges that matter, the ones that align with your goals and values, and let go of the rest. As you practice strategic ignorance, you'll notice a profound change in your life. You'll feel less stressed, less distracted, and more in control of your time and energy. You'll have the mental clarity to pursue your goals with focus and determination. And perhaps most importantly, you'll experience a deeper sense of peace, knowing that you're no longer at the mercy of the world's endless demands. Imagine a life where you're no longer weighed down by unnecessary worries, distractions, or obligations. A life where your attention is a powerful tool, laser-focused on what truly matters. This is the freedom that comes with strategic ignorance. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing your reality. It's about reclaiming your power and using it to build a life that's meaningful, fulfilling, and uniquely yours. Start today. Decide what you will no longer give your attention to. Set boundaries, make intentional choices, and let go of the rest. The world will always be noisy, but you don't have to listen. Instead, focus on your vision, your growth, and your journey. That's where your power lies, and that's how you rebuild yourself. Chapter 16. Create a ritual of rebirth. Rebirth isn't just about starting over, it's about transformation. It's a conscious decision to shed the old version of yourself and step into something new, something more aligned with who you want to become. Life is filled with opportunities to reinvent yourself, but without a clear ritual of rebirth, these opportunities can slip through your fingers. To truly rebuild yourself, you need to create a powerful and symbolic process of letting go of the past and embracing the future. A ritual of rebirth is not just a routine or a goal, it's a deeply intentional act that signals to your mind, body, and soul that you are ready to begin anew. It's a way to mark the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, to honor who you've been while stepping boldly into who you're becoming. This ritual doesn't have to be elaborate, but it does need to be meaningful to you. It should resonate deeply, making you feel like you've crossed a threshold and left the old behind. The first step in creating a ritual of rebirth is acknowledging what you're leaving behind. Rebirth isn't possible without release. What parts of your life no longer serve you? Are there habits, beliefs, relationships, or fears that you need to let go of? Take the time to reflect on these questions. Write them down if it helps. Be honest with yourself about what's holding you back. This process can be painful, but it's necessary. You can't carry the weight of the past if you want to move forward freely. Once you've identified what you need to release, create a symbolic act to represent this letting go. Symbols have a powerful way of communicating with our subconscious minds, making the ritual more impactful. You might write down the things you're letting go of and burn the paper as a way of turning them to ash. You could clean out your living space, removing objects that tie you to the past. Some people find it helpful to cut or alter their hair, marking a visible change in their appearance. The act itself doesn't matter as much as its meaning. Choose something that feels significant to you. The next step is to create space for the new. Just as nature abhors a vacuum, so too does your mind and spirit. Once you've let go of the old, you need to actively invite the new into your life. This could mean setting intentions for the qualities you want to embody or the life you want to create. Speak these intentions aloud, write them down, or visualize them in detail. The more clearly you define your new path, the more real it will feel. A powerful addition to your ritual of rebirth is to create a tangible reminder of your transformation. This could be a journal where you document your intentions and progress, a piece of jewelry or clothing that symbolizes your new identity, or even a physical space, like a corner of your home, dedicated to your growth. Every time you see or interact with this object or space, it reinforces your commitment to your new self. One of the most important elements of a ritual of rebirth is action. Symbolism and intention are powerful, but they must be paired with real-world steps to create lasting change. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to embody my new self? Then do it. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Small, consistent actions are often the most effective. Each step you take reinforces your transformation and builds momentum. Rituals of rebirth also benefit from a sense of ceremony. Whether it's lighting candles, playing meaningful music, or going to a place that inspires you, create an atmosphere that feels sacred and significant. This helps to anchor the experience in your memory, making it a moment you can return to whenever you need a reminder of your transformation. As you move through your ritual, take a moment to honor the person you've been. Even if you're letting go of parts of yourself, they've served a purpose in your journey. Thank your past self for their strength, resilience, and lessons. Recognize that every version of you has brought you to this point. By honoring your past, you pave the way for a brighter future. Rebirth is not a one-time event. It's a process you can repeat whenever you feel the need to realign or grow. Life is full of seasons, and each one offers the chance to renew yourself. By creating a ritual of rebirth, you give yourself a powerful tool for navigating life's changes with intention and grace. Imagine the power of stepping into your new self with clarity and purpose. Picture the confidence you'll feel, knowing that you've left the old behind and embraced the possibilities of the future. This is what a ritual of rebirth offers, a chance to start fresh, not as a different person, but as a more authentic, empowered version of yourself. So take the time to create your ritual, make it yours. Let it be a turning point in your journey. When you commit to this act of transformation, you're not just rebuilding yourself, you're reclaiming your power and choosing to live a life that reflects your deepest truth. Your rebirth is waiting. Step into it boldly. Chapter 17. Build a fortress around your mind. Your mind is your most valuable asset. It's the command center for your thoughts, emotions, decisions, and actions. Everything you achieve, or fail to achieve, begins with how well you guard and direct your mental space. Yet, in today's world, Your mind is under constant assault. Negative news, social media distractions, toxic people and self-doubt threaten to invade and derail your focus and peace. To rebuild yourself, you must take control. You must build a fortress around your mind. A mental fortress isn't about shutting out the world entirely. It's about creating boundaries that protect your inner peace, foster clarity, and allow you to focus on what truly matters. It's about filtering what comes in and ensuring that what stays inside serves your growth. A strong mental fortress isn't rigid. It's resilient, flexible, and designed to adapt while keeping your core intact. The first step in building a fortress around your mind is becoming aware of the things that threaten it. What consistently drains your energy, plants seeds of doubt, or triggers negative emotions? It could be certain people, environments, or even your own habits, like endlessly scrolling through social media or dwelling on worst-case scenarios. Identify these threats and acknowledge their impact on your mental state. Awareness is the foundation of any fortress. Once you've identified the threats, start setting boundaries. Boundaries are like the walls of your fortress. They define what's allowed in and what isn't. If certain relationships are toxic, limit your interactions or create emotional distance. If social media is consuming your time and confidence, set strict limits or take breaks. If negative self-talk is your biggest challenge, learn to recognize it and replace it with constructive thoughts. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're essential for protecting your mental health and well-being. Building a mental fortress also involves being intentional about what you let in. Your mind is shaped by what you consume, so choose wisely. Surround yourself with positivity, books, podcasts, and conversations that inspire and uplift you. Seek out people who challenge you in meaningful ways and support your growth. At the same time, reduce your exposure to negativity. You don't have to watch every news broadcast or engage in every heated debate. Choose what deserves your attention. One of the most effective tools for strengthening your mental fortress is mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you stay present and aware, making it easier to notice when something is breaching your mental defenses. It allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment, giving you the power to choose which ones to engage with and which ones to let go of. Simple practices like meditation, deep breathing, or even just pausing to check in with yourself can significantly enhance your mental resilience. Your mental fortress also needs a strong foundation of self-belief. Doubt and insecurity are like cracks in the walls, allowing negativity to seep in. To reinforce your fortress, work on building your confidence. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. Remind yourself of your strengths and capabilities. Surround yourself with affirmations that reinforce your worth and potential. The stronger your self-belief, the harder it is for external negativity to penetrate. Another critical aspect of fortifying your mind is learning to manage your emotions. Emotions are powerful, but they can also be unpredictable and overwhelming. When you're ruled by anger, fear, or sadness, it's easy for your mental defenses to crumble. Practice emotional regulation by acknowledging your feelings without letting them control you. Techniques like journaling, therapy, or simply talking things out with a trusted friend can help you process your emotions constructively. Your mental fortress isn't just about defense, it's also about growth. The space inside your fortress is where you nurture your creativity, focus, and vision. Dedicate time to activities that expand your mind and bring you joy. Whether it's learning a new skill, working on a passion project, or simply spending time in nature, these activities help you cultivate a positive and productive mental environment. One of the greatest threats to your mental fortress is burnout. No matter how strong your defenses are, they need maintenance. Rest is not a weakness, it's a necessity. Prioritize sleep, take breaks when needed, and allow yourself time to recharge. A well-rested mind is more resilient and better equipped to handle challenges. It's also essential to prepare your fortress for inevitable challenges. Life will throw curveballs, unexpected setbacks, difficult people, or high-pressure situations. Strengthening your mental fortress means building the tools to face these challenges head-on. Develop problem-solving skills, practice adaptability, and remind yourself that you've overcome difficulties before and can do so again. Finally, recognize that your mental fortress is not a solitary endeavor. While it's important to cultivate self-reliance, don't be afraid to seek support. Trusted friends, mentors, or professionals can offer guidance, encouragement, and perspective. Sometimes, the strongest fortress is built with the help of others. Imagine living with a mind that feels calm, clear, and focused, no matter what's happening around you. A mind that isn't easily shaken by criticism, distraction, or negativity. A mind that allows you to pursue your goals with confidence and creativity. This is the power of building a fortress around your mind. Start today by identifying the areas where your mental defenses are weakest. Strengthen them with boundaries, mindfulness, and positive influences. Commit to protecting your mind as fiercely as you would protect anything else you value. When you do, you'll find that your mental fortress doesn't just shield you, it empowers you to thrive in a chaotic world. This is the strength you need to rebuild yourself into the person you were always meant to be. Chapter 18. Become a paradox. Life is full of contradictions. You've probably heard phrases like less is more or strength comes from vulnerability. At first, these ideas seem confusing or even impossible. How can two opposing truths exist together? Yet, paradoxes are everywhere in nature and in human experience. They're not just fascinating, they're powerful. To truly rebuild yourself, you must embrace the idea of becoming a paradox, a person who holds seemingly opposite qualities in harmony, creating a deeper, more dynamic version of yourself. Being a paradox means rejecting the notion that you have to choose between one thing and another. It's not about being this or that, it's about being this and that. You can be strong and gentle, confident and humble, disciplined and spontaneous. Paradoxes don't weaken you, they make you more resilient, adaptable and whole. They allow you to navigate life with flexibility and depth, unbound by rigid labels or expectations. The first step to becoming a paradox is letting go of black and white thinking. Many of us are taught to see the world in absolutes, right or wrong, success or failure, strength or weakness. But life is far more complex than that. Every situation, every emotion, and every person, including you, exists in shades of grey. By embracing this complexity, you open yourself up to new perspectives and possibilities. One of the most powerful paradoxes you can embody is the balance between confidence and humility. Confidence gives you the courage to take risks, speak your truth, and pursue your goals. But unchecked confidence can lead to arrogance, making you blind to your flaws or the value of others' perspectives. That's where humility comes in. Humility keeps you grounded, open to learning, and aware of your interconnectedness with others. When you combine the two, you become unstoppable, bold enough to act, but wise enough to listen. Another vital paradox is strength and vulnerability. Society often equates vulnerability with weakness, but in reality, it's one of the greatest sources of strength. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you build deeper connections, foster trust, and demonstrate courage. Strength, on the other hand, is what allows you to endure challenges and protect yourself when needed. Together, these qualities create emotional resilience. You're not just tough or tender, you're both, And that balance is what makes you truly powerful. Discipline and spontaneity form another important paradox. Discipline helps you stay focused, build good habits, and achieve long-term goals. But too much rigidity can lead to burnout or boredom. Spontaneity, meanwhile, brings joy, creativity, and a sense of adventure. By blending the two, you create a life that's both structured and vibrant, a life where you can work hard, but still leave room for surprises and fun. Paradoxes also exist in how you view success and failure. Many people see failure as the opposite of success, something to be avoided at all costs. But failure is actually a necessary part of the journey to success. Every setback teaches you something valuable, sharpens your skills, and strengthens your character. Success and failure are not enemies, they're partners in growth. When you embrace this paradox, you stop fearing failure and start using it as a stepping stone. Becoming a paradox also means accepting that change and stability can coexist. Change is inevitable. It's the only constant in life. But amidst the chaos of change, you can create stability within yourself. This might come from your values, routines, or relationships, anchors that keep you steady no matter how much the world shifts around you. By embodying both adaptability and consistency, you become someone who can thrive in any situation. Another paradox to embrace is the idea of being independent yet connected. Independence gives you the freedom to make your own choices and stand on your own 2 feet. Connection, on the other hand, reminds you that you're part of something larger, a family, a community, or even humanity as a whole. When you balance these two, you create a life where you're self-reliant but never isolated, strong in yourself, yet deeply engaged with others. To become a paradox, you must also learn to be comfortable with uncertainty. Paradoxes are, by nature, full of tension. They don't have clear answers or easy resolutions. This can feel uncomfortable, but it's also where growth happens. When you stop trying to force clarity or certainty, you make room for curiosity, exploration, and creativity. You learn to live in the questions rather than rushing to find answers. One way to practice becoming a paradox is through reflection. Take time to explore the qualities you think are opposites: strength and softness, ambition and contentment, logic and intuition. Ask yourself how these traits show up in your life. How might they complement each other instead of conflicting? The more you reflect, the more you'll see that opposites are often 2 sides of the same coin. Embodying paradoxes doesn't mean being inconsistent or confused. It means being whole. It means embracing all parts of yourself, even the ones that seem contradictory. It means recognizing that life is richer and more beautiful when you allow space for complexity. The more paradoxes you hold, the more dynamic and multidimensional you become. Imagine being someone who is confident yet humble, disciplined yet spontaneous, strong yet vulnerable. Imagine navigating life with the ability to adapt to change while staying grounded in your values. This is the power of becoming a paradox. It's not about choosing one path over another. It's about walking both, creating a life that's as expansive and nuanced as you are. So, step into the contradictions. Embrace the complexities. Let go of the need for easy answers and allow yourself to be everything you are. When you become a paradox, you don't just rebuild yourself. You transform into someone extraordinary, someone who can thrive in the infinite possibilities of life. Chapter 19. Live as a work in progress. Rebuilding yourself is not a destination, it's a way of life. Too often we think of transformation as a finish line, imagining a day when we'll finally be complete, free of flaws, doubts or challenges. But the truth is, there's no final version of you, no perfect state to achieve. Life is fluid, and so are you. To truly thrive, you must embrace the idea of living as a work in progress. Living as a work in progress means letting go of the illusion of perfection. It means accepting that you will never arrive at some ultimate version of yourself. Instead, you will constantly evolve, growing, learning, and adapting as life unfolds. This isn't a flaw, it's a gift. It means that every day you have the opportunity to become someone new, someone better. The first step to living as a work in progress is to reframe how you see growth. Growth isn't linear, and it's rarely smooth. It's messy, filled with setbacks, detours, and moments of self-doubt. But these challenges are not failures. They're the raw materials of transformation. When you view each struggle as a stepping stone, you begin to see that even the hard times are part of your progress. Living as a work in progress also means embracing curiosity. Instead of clinging to who you think you should be, allow yourself to explore who you could be. Try new things. Take risks. Challenge your beliefs. Ask questions like, what else am I capable of? What haven't I tried yet? What if I approached this differently? Curiosity keeps you open to possibility, ensuring that your growth never stagnates. One of the most liberating aspects of living as a work in progress is realizing that mistakes are not the opposite of success. They're part of it. Mistakes teach you what doesn't work, refine your strategies, and deepen your understanding. When you embrace mistakes as essential to your journey, you stop fearing them. Instead, you see them as signs that you're pushing your boundaries and stepping into the unknown. Another key to living as a work in progress is celebrating small wins. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, and the big milestones are often few and far between. But every small step forward matters. Whether it's sticking to a new habit for a week, speaking up in a meeting, or simply choosing kindness when it's difficult, these moments add up. Acknowledge them. Celebrate them. They are proof that you're moving in the right direction. Living as a work in progress also means being kind to yourself. Growth requires patience, and self-criticism only slows you down. Treat yourself as you would a close friend, with compassion, encouragement, and forgiveness. When you fall short, don't beat yourself up. Instead, ask, what can I learn from this? How can I try again? Kindness is the fuel that keeps you moving forward. As a work in progress, you also need to embrace impermanence. Nothing in life is permanent. Not your successes, your failures, your pain, or your joy. This impermanence is not something to fear, it's something to celebrate. It means that no matter how stuck you feel today, you can change. It means that even your most difficult moments are temporary. Embracing impermanence allows you to live fully in the present, unburdened by the weight of the past or the uncertainty of the future. Living as a work in progress isn't about settling for less or being complacent. It's about recognizing that growth is an ongoing journey, not a fixed destination. It's about continually striving to be better while appreciating who you are right now. You don't have to wait until you're finished to feel proud of yourself. You can take pride in the fact that you're trying, growing, and evolving every day. Imagine what your life could look like if you stopped chasing perfection and started embracing progress. Imagine the freedom of knowing that you don't have to have it all figured out. This mindset doesn't just make life easier, it makes it richer. It allows you to approach every day with curiosity, resilience, and joy, knowing that each step, no matter how small, is part of your journey. So, live as a work in progress. Be proud of your imperfections and excited by your potential. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep rebuilding, knowing that there's no limit to who you can become. The journey is your masterpiece, and you are its creator. Chapter 20. Embrace the endless journey. Rebuilding yourself is not about reaching a final version of who you are. It's about embracing the endless journey of becoming. Life is not static. It flows, evolves, and transforms constantly. The person you are today is not the person you were a year ago, and a year from now, you'll have grown again. The beauty of this process lies in its infinite nature. To truly rebuild yourself, you must learn to find joy, purpose, and fulfillment in the ongoing journey of transformation. Embracing the endless journey starts with understanding that there's no finish line. Many people fall into the trap of thinking, once I achieve this, I'll be complete. Once I fix that, I'll be happy. But life doesn't work that way. Growth is not something you achieve and then set aside. It's a constant process. Every new goal you reach opens the door to another. Every lesson you learn prepares you for the next challenge. The journey doesn't end because life doesn't stop. Instead of striving for a destination, shift your focus to the journey itself. Celebrate the process of becoming. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Every challenge you overcome, every skill you develop, and every fear you conquer adds to the richness of your life. When you embrace the journey, you stop waiting for someday to feel fulfilled and start finding fulfillment in the present moment. One of the keys to embracing the endless journey is cultivating a mindset of curiosity. Approach life with the wonder of a beginner, even as you gain experience. Ask questions, explore new ideas, and challenge your assumptions. Curiosity keeps you open to growth and prevents you from falling into the trap of thinking you've figured it all out. There's always more to learn, more to discover, and more to become. Embracing the journey also requires patience. Growth doesn't happen overnight, and the path is rarely straight. There will be detours, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But these are not signs that you're failing. They're part of the process. Patience allows you to trust the timing of your journey, knowing that every step, no matter how slow, is moving you forward. Another essential aspect of embracing the endless journey is resilience. Life will challenge you in ways you can't predict. There will be times when you feel like you're starting over or losing ground. But these moments are opportunities to rebuild stronger than before. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It's about using it as fuel for growth. Each time you rise from a setback, you prove to yourself that you are capable of overcoming anything. As you navigate this journey, remember to reflect on how far you've come. It's easy to focus on what's still ahead and forget to honor your progress. Take time to look back and acknowledge the person you were and the person you've become. Celebrate your victories, learn from your challenges, and appreciate the journey that has brought you to this point. Embracing the endless journey also means accepting that you will never be perfect, and that's okay. Perfection is an illusion, a moving target that will always stay just out of reach. Instead of striving for perfection, aim for progress. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself that you can be today, knowing that tomorrow offers another opportunity to grow. A vital part of this journey is finding meaning in every stage of life. Whether you're facing triumphs or trials, success or failure, each moment has value. Even the difficult times teach you resilience, patience, and strength. When you find meaning in both the highs and the lows, the journey becomes richer and more rewarding. Finally, embrace the fact that the journey is yours and yours alone. It's easy to compare your progress to others, but everyone's path is unique. What matters is not how quickly you move or how far you go, but that you keep moving. Trust that your journey is unfolding exactly as it's meant to, in its own time and in its own way. Imagine living a life where every day feels like a step towards something greater. a life where you wake up excited by the possibilities of growth, unburdened by the need for perfection or the fear of failure. This is what it means to embrace the endless journey. It's not about reaching the end, it's about finding joy, purpose and fulfillment in the act of becoming. As you continue to rebuild yourself, know that this journey will never truly end, and that's a beautiful thing. Each new chapter brings new opportunities, challenges and discoveries. You are not a fixed being, but an ever-evolving masterpiece. Embrace this endless journey, and you'll find that life is not about who you are, it's about who you're becoming. Keep moving, keep growing, and keep creating the extraordinary life that only you can build. You are the architect of your life. Rebuilding yourself is not about finding an endpoint. It's about embracing the continuous journey of growth and transformation. It's about realizing that you are not a finished product, but an ever-evolving masterpiece. Every chapter of your life adds depth, color, and meaning to who you are becoming. The journey doesn't end because life doesn't stop. It flows, and so do you. This book has been your guide, a collection of tools, insights, and strategies to help you navigate the process of rebuilding yourself. From facing rock bottom to creating rituals of rebirth, from embracing paradoxes to learning the power of strategic ignorance, you've explored the many facets of transformation. But the true work lies ahead in how you use these tools to continue shaping your life. Understand this. You are the architect of your existence. You hold the power to create, adapt, and grow, no matter where you start or how many times you need to begin again. The challenges you face are not barriers, but stepping stones. Every setback is a lesson, every mistake a teacher, and every victory a reminder of your capability. The beauty of rebuilding yourself lies in its infinite nature. There is no final version of you, no perfect self to attain. Instead, you are a work in progress, a constantly unfolding story. And that's what makes life exciting. Each day offers the opportunity to try, to fail, to learn, and to rise again. Embrace this cycle, for it is where true fulfillment lies. Let go of the pressure to be flawless or complete. Celebrate your imperfections, for they are what make you unique. Honor your progress, no matter how small, because every step forward matters. Live with curiosity, patience, and resilience, knowing that your growth is a journey, not a destination. As you move forward, remember that transformation is not a straight path, it's a dynamic process. There will be moments of doubt, times when the road feels unclear, and days when you'll wonder if you're moving at all. But trust that even in those moments, you are growing. Progress is not always visible, but it is always happening. You've come this far, and that's something to celebrate. But this is just the beginning. The tools you've gained are yours to use whenever you need them. The insights you've discovered will guide you as you continue to grow. You have everything you need to keep rebuilding, one step, one choice, one moment at a time. So, step into the next chapter of your life with courage and confidence. Know that you are capable of incredible things. Trust the process, embrace the journey, and find joy in the act of becoming. You are not just living your story, you are creating it. And that story is extraordinary because it's yours. The journey never ends, and that's the beauty of it. You are always becoming, always growing, always rebuilding. Take a deep breath, step forward, and embrace the limitless potential of your life. The best is yet to come.